to give you a forecast for the coming week, for your life, for what's going on in this community, and for the world around us. So we're going to get started in just a minute. I will give the live people just a moment to get their notification, and I'll have a drink of water. Hello, Mr. Floyd, Josh, welcome. Welcome, Brooke, Lisa, Millie, Yvonne, MT, welcome. Who else is in? Jody, hi. Hi, Chris. Hi, Michael. Hi, Meryl. Welcome. All right. So it's a little bit of a nippy, rainy Sunday morning here as we are getting ready to have a bit of an autumn Arctic outbreak. Hi, Chris. Oh, did I say hi? Hi, Lloyd. Welcome. Welcome. Getting ready to have a bit of an Arctic outbreak here in the Northeast, and we may even see some snow at the tops of the mountains here in the Catskills, although that's a lot more likely to happen next week in the Adirondacks in New England. But and then it's going to get nice and beautiful fall weather after that, probably carrying close to Halloween. So there's a quick little meteorological update for you guys also. And how did you guys like the Northern Lights? I got to see it. It was pretty spectacular here, though in my neck of the woods, the October 2003 Northern Lights displays the benchmark. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Of course, I've never been to the Arctic Circle either, but that was a show. That the Northern Lights were streaming all the way from the northern horizon clear to the southern horizon, all overhead, and even Texas got to see that. But that was an X45 solar flare. These ones were anywhere from an X2 to an X9.02, so a little difference. And get a little fodder for conversation. I'll try to keep a little bit of an eye on what you guys are saying also, because I like Tarot Time to be a little bit of a community kind of a get-together where we can exchange ideas. So there's a lot of conjecture out there whether this round of Northern Lights were natural. And the same thing came up in May, but I was posting my beautiful pics, and with the iPhones, they have a night setting with a slow shutter speed, so it brings out the brightness and the colors. It's still spectacular, but not quite what it looks like from the phones. I have to be honest about that. But then people are saying, well, look up HARP, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, I know about HARP. I know that they can produce artificial aurora borealis. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily doing it, though. So what do you guys think about that? There's arguments on both sides. The more scientific side, we're approaching a solar max. It's a little bit early this cycle. 2014 was the last one. That was the year I didn't sleep. I kind of talk about that if I got 3 hours of sleep a night in 2014, I was lucky. I stopped doing my yoga because I thought that was it. There was too much energy. It was much later on I realized that there was a lot of solar flares because that was the last solar max. So there's that side. But I've been seeing a lot of pics, and I've been seeing a few pics of the Northern Lights that had these little rods in them that look really odd. And it's like, all right, is this genetically engineered? And it's kind of like the same question with the weather also and the severe storms. So, it makes for good conversation. I mean, I say innocent until proven guilty. I don't have enough proof to say that these storms were modified, by enhancing the weather or altering the weather. But the technology, I believe, is there because a lot of our weather I study meteorology in college. I have a BA in meteorology, not a BS, not a Bachelor of Science, it's a Bachelor of Arts for whatever reason. I mean, with all the calculus, differential equations, and physics, and all the sciences I needed to learn, I don't know why it's a Bachelor of Art. But anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. So I've got that knowledge. And I believe what's happening in meteorology, because they can still be off on a forecast like hours before an event. But I believe space weather affects the atmosphere, particularly at the level of the ionosphere. And some of the like the HARP tests that we know, you can look that up on the internet. There is, it does say that the HARP, HAARP, can produce artificial northern lights can affect the ionosphere. So I believe it's theoretically possible because weather is driven by the upper atmosphere and the temperature patterns in the upper atmosphere. So if you raise a certain section of the upper atmosphere, just by a degree or two, you start to change the flows of the upper atmosphere, which steers the storm. So in theory, it could be. I'll put it that way. But personally, I don't have enough evidence to jump on that bandwagon. So I'll see what you guys are thinking. Then we're going to jump into some tarot. And the other thing is we're coming up to elections, and that's heating up big time. So let's see. What's Lloyd saying? Welcome, Lloyd, by the way. You really have to be careful when it comes to forecasts because the truth is meteorologists are wrong all the time. And part of this is because weather is such new science. Actually, um, weather forecasts carry now a 93% accuracy rating. So they're right a lot more than they're wrong. And I forecast myself. I study this. But that said, they're wrong enough. And you're correct that it is a new science. Like I was saying, they're still discovering what the role is of space weather with Earth weather. And I forgot the name of it, but over the last 10, 15 years, they discovered an oscillation that moves east to west rather than west to east. And when you're in the height of that oscillation, you're likely to get more hurricanes and big storms. When you're in the low, it's likely to be suppressed. So yes, you're correct. There is a lot to learn about that. And Robert Long, the more that's what I agree with also. Um, that a lot of this is really because we've upset the balance. And one of the things I studied in the 1970s to 1980 was climate change and global warming, and there were models that have proven to be very accurate that were out in the 1970s about more CO2 emissions, more methane, greenhouse gases, how that's going to change the atmosphere. And you consider that these models came out a long time ago. I'm with you on that, Robert. I believe that also. And seeding clouds. Yeah, I mean, there's pages of weather modification experiments. It's not that part's not a myth. That's a fact. Um, so that happens, and when everything's maintaining a balance, there's more heat in the equator, less heat in the poles. The nature of duality is that it's always seeking the oneness. We're always seeking to come back to that unity, that oneness, that oneness with God, spirit, or source. So all opposites are one and the same, and the nature of duality is there's an attempt to bring that into unification. So what does that mean in the atmosphere? It means that if one area of the planet's receiving more sunlight and the other is receiving less, the Earth's going to try to balance that. And because the Earth spins, you have something called the Coriolis effect that creates the rotations around the storm. In the northern hemisphere, cyclonic; southern hemisphere, anticyclonic. Reverse is true of high pressure systems. So it's always trying to balance that. So hurricanes are an important part of the weather machine and the balancing act of the Earth. The more we upset that, the more it gets screwed up. So yes, thank you for your input. Sorry. Good morning, Blind Leads Fire, Krista. Welcome. So what else is Robert saying? If anybody drops some fluid in that Aquarius, he would have them applied. Thank you. That's an excellent idea. And MDR saying, Yo, Gigi, Yogi Bhajan used to say it's a shame people mess up the world because they don't see how beautiful God actually made it. Oh, I love that. That comes from Yogi Bhajan. I love that. All right, so let's go into some tarot. So we gave you a little fodder for debate. We can disagree. You can disagree with me. I'm fine with that as long as we're respectful and kind to one another. The powers that be want everybody to be angry and divided because then we're weaker. Here we want everybody to be unified and to share our different views and ideas and debate and share and we all learn and grow by the process, right? So guys are making some excellent points. So thank you, Lloyd. Thank you, Robert. Was it and everybody else that's input. Thank you very much for that. All right, so let's do. We start out with a meditation card, and hi, Mr. Floyd. So Blind Meets Star will be live on the on Mr. Floyd's channel to discuss feng shui, and Krista was on the Medium channel. What was it, about a year and a half ago? Also talking about that, and so thank you for that. So you can catch Mr. Floyd's channeling. He does every day, right? That you do something every day. Channeling Archangel Raphael, Sekhmet, Saint Germain comes up a lot, and now he has guests, and he also has Laura B doing readings on his channel, who's part of our community. So lots of good stuff happening there, and I just yesterday subscribed to Blindly Inspired, so she has a channel also, and who else? Millie, if she's in, has a channel. I can't think. I was doing readings till 11 p.m. last night. Didn't get to bed till like 3, and I never slept last night, honestly. So I'm a little bit. I like I like these comments. Thank you so much, Robert. I truly believe lightning and tornado, all weather is the Earth trying to restore back. Exactly, yeah. That's thanks for validating that. I believe that also. And hi Miss Annie, welcome hi from Iowa. So live Monday through Friday, 10:33 East Coast. Thank you. That's when Mr. Floyd's on live doing channeling and work. And then by the way, would anyone like Architecture Time magazines mail this to them? All right, to let MDR know. Let us know in the chat. And what's MT saying? Also, everything I say is public knowledge and can be easily looked up on the government website. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and most. I mean, if I'll put it this way, if I'm getting something more through the master teachers through channeling, I'll let you know if it's not like on like proven or on the government pages or whatever. And there's been some examples of that. So Laura B is going to be Tuesday night, Tarot and Oracle, yes. And hi, Colleen. All right, so back to tarot. So we'll do our meditation card for the week. What do you guys think? Natural Northern Light. I have a hard time believing that HARP technology is so advanced they can have affect the global global things in the stratosphere and the ionosphere to create. I know that they've done it. You can look that up on the internet. That they've actually done that. But I have a hard time believing that. But since I don't know, I consider all possibilities. If I don't know something, it's kind of I don't know. It's the word foolish to think that you know everything. It's better to know nothing than you're open to learning, basically. So sometimes, and one of the little exercises I like to do is in the mornings after I do my meditation and I'm ready to hit that cold shower. Could I do that for 3 minutes every morning? I like to, in my mind, just prepare a blank blackboard and just erase everything that I think I know because it's a brand new day, and just to allow the day's lessons to write upon the blackboard. So I think that, or I actually learned that in a movie called Circle of Iron, a martial arts movie. It was called The Silent Flute, and Bruce Lee was supposed to have the starring role, but he died. So David Carradine got the role, and they changed the name to Circle of Iron. But as the both the villain and the master, David Carradine played 5 different roles, but he was at the same time, his one character was both the villain and the master. And that's what he said. It's like every morning I prepare a blank blackboard for the day's lessons to write upon. So you can use a computer screen now because it's modern times. But that stuck with me. I was like, what a great idea. and then you're open to receive new learning and new knowledge. Sometimes it's what we think we know that blocks us from learning new things, right? Is there any proof of that blindly inspired? I'm not questioning that. I just want to know if there's any tangible evidence of that. I know Bill Gates. I feel like Spirit's saying yes, that we can find that. I think Spirit's answering my question, and that'd be interesting, to know, right? That would be interesting to know that. Yeah, I get a kind of I like Elizabeth April, but I kind of get a sort of a mixed vibe sometimes from her. But that's just me, That doesn't mean anything about her. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely research. I mean, I don't think that's deniable. You can look that out. There is research on. I mean, in a perfect world, it'll be how to modify the hurricanes in order to maybe weaken before landfall or miss landfall. Some people think that Helene was 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 a modified or an engineered storm. You always want to follow the money when looking for the true conspiracies versus what they're flooding in the collective to try to confuse people and send people down the wrong rabbit holes. And in Helene's case, there's an argument because it wound up raining out over areas where they're mining some of the purest crystals in the world and lithium. And there were pads through BlackRock, apparently, through one of the big three asset management companies to mine in that area before the storm hit. So there's enough evidence to debate it. I'll put it that way. And with the other one, with Milton, the storm blew up in the Gulf and then it kind of weakened before landfall. They could have been experimenting on strengthening and weakening the storm. So it's possible. It's, given the technology, I believe it's possible. And if you disagree, that's fine. That's why we're a community. We're exchanging ideas. But I believe that the affecting the ionosphere, and that's where HAARP technology can come in. And I think they know more than they let us know. So whatever technologies we know about, they're probably at least 15 years ahead of that, and it's secretive. So let's see, what else are you guys saying? Suzette, Mr. Floyd, I had a 555 moment. Cool. So you woke up at 555. I'm sure I was up at 555. And Laura's saying it's very cool if you sort of exactly, extremely cool. It would just validate they don't give a crap about human life. And the fact that the government is not really helping any of the political leftism. Yeah, all right, that's interesting because if you ask that, then they'll say that FEMA's been there, but the residents have a different story from what I understand. Hi, Brianna. Welcome. 555 big changes. Yes, that's the number of change. Also a number of freedom. I have to check out John Benny. Can you guys talk about him a lot? We have some big attachments for both her and her mom that had a very sick job. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've done that for people also. By the way, it's not the most fun work, but I've had to do that. And the one time, a good friend's husband would go off the rails when he had a few drinks. So he did the clearing, and then the next day she showed me a photo, and it was night, and he took a selfie of himself when he was being activated. So there's a reflection off the mirror, and it was a textbook image of a little gray. Like, not even subtle. It was a textbook freaking image of a little gray. And I was like, this is the entity I was clearing, a freaking alien? Are you kidding me? I don't think sometimes the person is on, but I don't think she's on right now. If she is, she'll validate that. I wish I kept the photo. I just didn't want that energy around me, so I deleted it from my photos. And I wish I kept that because then people would see it and believe that. So yeah. So John Binney and I have something in common. Yeah. He's in Scotland. I like Scottish people, like Kyle Gray, and I got one of his decks today also. Spirit. So yeah. Um, oh, thank you, Millie. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, you at the retreat, how are we doing? Yeah, that we're at the retreat, and we brought Josh in, so you were there also. And another beautiful channel with Vedic chants and fire homas is Hula with Jared, and my God, he's done so much high level spiritual work that Spirit Fest was just one of many transitions that he experienced. But my God, what a transformation that man made after that event. And you guys also made some amazing transformations. So the powerful Sekhmet initiation, I got it too. Because the energy was working through me to do the initiations. There you go. I know you have, Laura. I know. I see that. Um, so you on Mondays you direct your morning. I'll see where I'm at Monday. I'm off, so I might be able to join you guys on Monday. But sometimes I'm just so wrapped up in my other work, like doing videos, and my days off, I'm working basically. I'd love to go to Scotland also. And what's hi Anna, and what she's saying, FEMA workers have had death. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of fear and disinformation, and it's hard to is that the word, disseminate the facts from what's fiction and what's real. But we know we know from history that there are strong arming techniques from different governmental branches. We've seen that. We saw that in the Kerry Bush election, where people in the swing states that were voting in the Democrat nations, there were armed guards, and they have videos of that they were turned away from the polls. So we know that we know that those tactics exist. So I don't think we can just dismiss it, even if we don't believe it. Just look at the history, and the fact that there's so much that's hidden. People complain about conspiracies. Well, guess what? You can eliminate the conspiracies. Hello, governments of the world. You can eliminate that. Be transparent. Let the people know what's going on. When you hide information, people are going to assume, or they're going to conjecture that because you're hiding something, that there's a conspiracy, right? So they could eliminate that, but they want the conspiracy theories. It's interesting that these very crazy things are allowed to be on social media. The very extreme right, the extreme left, all that stuff. If they're censoring things about COVID shots, but they're not censoring things about other things that are going on, that means that they want that to appear, because they control the social media also. So yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, so Jody, I know that's your ancestry to some degree. Scotland is made. I want to go also. Chris had a lot of upgrades too. Yeah, so we'll do another Spear Fest in next summer. Or I'm looking at doing a 4-day version. And this is the solution here. Just double up on our light. A quick, good to know, but don't get distracted. Knowledge is power. Thank you. Yes. Just speaking the help, the extremists are exhausting. Face agendas to keep us exactly. Yes. And fear and insecurity allows division and negativity to steer. Exactly. Lots of upgrades. Yeah. So you guys that I asked said the October retreat was too soon for you guys, and nobody signed up. So I'm postponing that for President's Day weekend. So we'll do the mediumship channeling retreat then. I think we'll have attendees then. Cause I was surprised, because everybody's asking me, when are you going to do a retreat for mediumship? When are you going to do classes or whatever? So I offer it. Nobody shows up. And anyway, hello, Laura Barbara. You've been missing a rip-roaring conversation here. Thanks for the prayers. I'm glad you got your power back. Excellent to hear that. Welcome. Most people won't dig into anything. People do one. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that also, as well. So, we have to be careful not to feed that divide, but at the same time to learn, to research, discover, and understand the truth that's going on. And the master teachers have given us a lot of stuff. Also, none of that I can validate. I mean, what were they saying that's come true? Oh yeah. They were talking about September. It's a little bit of a downswing with the energetics going on, kind of like the exhale. But as soon as October hits, it's going to be rip roaring again. And they talked about the collective quantum leap happening in August. But then the start of the collective awakening, or the next phase, was going to be heralded by um, heightened solar activity and anomalous sky events. And I'm seeing nothing on social media but these weird things people are flashing in the sky, and of course the northern lights and everything. So this is it. We're in the next spike of awakening. So a lot between now and January, there's going to be a lot of souls that are going to start to awaken, and it's going to be like somebody wake up in the morning and be like, "Oh wow, I'm not solid. I'm energy, and everything's a lie, and everything's light and frequency, and I can feel outside my body, and I know what, and I can feel the other side. So a lot of people are going to be waking up now, and it's funny. Spirits show me dolphins as I'm talking about that. So dolphins have, it's about mana and breath. So just learning, that's why they showed me that doing different breath techniques can enhance your awakening. It can enhance your shielding from negative energies. Breath can do a lot of things. You can direct prana or chi through your breath to heal yourself from things. Um, and so this is all part of the awakening, feeling the flow and then learning how to direct the flow. And I was lucky because I got into martial arts in college, and it was only 8 months after I started doing Tai Chi that all of a sudden, that instead of doing the movements, they started to do themselves. And the first time, the energy just pulled me clear over off my feet, and I was like, wow, that's prana, that's flow, yeah. And that's what, if you do Reiki, you're working with that to enhance the energy so that the person's natural energetic fields can heal them. Basically, like as a healer, I can't heal anybody, but I can direct energy, and then their higher selves can heal them for sure. Yeah, animals are awakening at another level. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, and I think it's in February, President's Day. Yeah. So that's, I don't know the dates. It's usually the third week of February is usually President's Week. So that weekend, I'm gonna schedule. We'll see if people want to do it. Hopefully they will. And then the advantage of that is that a lot of people have that Monday off, so the retreat ends on Sunday, and then they can maybe go skiing or boarding, the next day, because it's at the Hunter Mountain House. What does that mean? It's like 8 minutes from Hunter Mountain. That's what it means. Um, oh, good. I'm glad that you're still doing the exercises. the Yeah, okay. So the thing about that is, the next one, the mediumship and channeling retreat, I'm gonna do there because she was kind enough not to take a deposit. I kind of owe her a retreat, but for the summer one, I want to find a location that's more rural, that's more like in the woods. And there's a few places. So yeah, we're gonna work on finding a different location, Yvonne. Yeah, yeah. I hear that. Yeah. Um. It was. Yeah, I know. You really have to live through it. I mean, pictures don't do it justice. And I've never lived through a hurricane like that. So I wouldn't know the firsthand experience either. Yeah. Um, I'm with you on that, Yvonne. I'm just laughing reading your comment. Yeah. I mean, I love Lori. I like it, but there's definitely, the sleeping arrangements. Were definitely a little challenging for sure. All right, so back to tarot. Now that we're a full half hour in, let's do some divination work. This is a lot of this is our our community hangout anyway. That might be fun. I want to get out to Colorado, maybe in the spring, to visit you guys also. So I want to do that. I think that the Spirit Fest we're still going to do in the Catskills, but I'd love to do that. All right. So meditation card, yes. And the one that we got here, Two of Cups. So some of you are going to be meeting a new guide. So others of you would maybe meeting a new mentor or new relationship or something like that. I mean, these could be predictive also or energetic also. But as a meditation card, what you want to do is like any other meditation, clear your mind, open your heart, be present. Then in your mind, this is the Morgan Greer deck. You could pull your own Two of Cups if you want, or use this one. And you just step in and feel the energy when you step in, and this is just a doorway. So you look at the whole scene. There may be other beings, there are other scenes, whatever. What do you feel? What do you smell, taste, hear? Who do you meet? What message did you get? And because it's the two, we're talking about the synergy. We're talking a little bit about the duality. And when the two join, that becomes either one or three, right? So that's the three and the one and the one and the three. So three and all of its multiples have a different resonance in both in mathematics and in the energetics, as Nikola Tesla pointed out with his 369 code. I love to do a retreat. In fact, I'd love to go and do one of Lily's retreats. Yeah, as things move on, the channel slow and steady wins the race. So the channel keeps growing, basically. And thank you. Millie was there too. Yeah. And Mr. Floyd's 30 minutes away from I only went there once. We did two martial arts seminars in Denver, and the second one we drove up to Pikes Peak, and there's like parking lot. Then there's a little incline to the rock, and I was winded by the time I got to the rock. But I'm not used to being at 12,000 feet or 14,000 feet, or however high that is. So anyway, let's do a 3-card spread. So I'm gonna move through this. Yeah, I love cacao. Yeah, that's very, very, very healthy. It's what they add to chocolate that's unhealthy, but the chocolate itself, the cacao, raw cacao is very healthy. Yeah, 14,000. Yeah, no wonder. I was like, ooh, I thought I was gonna pass out just walking to the top of that. Yeah, let's go on tour, right? Every other month, have a retreat somewhere. Never know. I'm planning my 70th birthday in the outback of Australia. That'll be 2028. There's going to be a beautiful total solar eclipse in early August in the outback, and New Zealand also, I believe. I got to be in the April the April 8th one. I didn't see it because it was totally overcast, but I got to be there and be in the energy, and day turned to night. Then we did sweat lodge ceremony right afterwards, and it's a beautiful cleansing and clearing. But of course, that kind of whetted my appetite. No, I want to see it. It's nice to feel, but I want to see it also. So we may with Adam Z and Euphrasia. I'll talk about them in a second because I have one of their gifts that I'm going to use. But we were talking about heading to Spain in 2 years, or it's actually closer to a year and a half for the next total eclipse. I think there's also one in Alaska next year, but we're not going to do that one. Anyways, so here's doing a three card spread. Wow, you can see it at 150 miles. Now that takes clear air to see anything 150 miles away. I'd love to do one in Peru. The chief shaman from Machu Picchu used to come up to the area, and I would sit in on the Washuma ceremonies with him. They were quite beautiful. Uh, Here we go. So you guys have a lot of hi, Karen, by the way, or Carrie or Karen. Welcome to Jericho. Or you're sounding like a really fun. Yeah, I know the if part of my forecast either for the year or I forgot what it was. I got my hair cut in Texas. um um the forecast. What was I saying? I was going to they're talking about at least some movement in the direction of a Nasara or Yesara or Gesara if they pronounce it that. Um I don't think that's in this world would be realistic to have everything proposed with that. But I do believe that there could be some work on creating more of a fair exchange rate and softening the borders a little bit. But that's as I'm saying that they're saying, yeah, that's about still 3 years off though. All right, so 3 card spread. Um, here's 1, 2, 3. All right, we got 3 cards. Let's see. Yeah, bring my clipboard over. All right, this is kind of interesting. For one thing, it speaks on some real, it may be behind the scenes work. I don't know if the World Economic Forum is meeting soon or who is. It looks like there's definitely some work behind the scenes to do something with the economy. They talk about the economy strong or whatever, but it doesn't pass the eye test as far as I'm concerned. They use like unemployment rates, but that includes people that might be working 5 hours a week or on temp assignments or work minimum wage jobs. So that's to me is technology, using something that's factual but distorting its meaning to mean something else, basically to hide an agenda. So that's what I call technology. Oh, it's BRICS meeting in Moscow. Okay, thank you very much for that. So it's the BRICS nations that are meeting. And I trust you. And MDR works in the field or in accounting, so knows a lot basically. So does Michael Marr. When he chimes in, he does a lot of research himself also. So what's it saying? And sometimes the leading in with the Knight of Swords, that could be a little bit rough. I think for the message for a lot of us is that we don't owe allegiance to anybody that's negative at this point, even if it's family or close friend or even a romantic loved one or an interest. So the WEF is meeting. I thought that, yeah, it's active now in Germany. Yeah, let's send them a lot of love and light. Yes. Hello, Mr. What's his name? Schwab, or I can't even remember the guy's name. You will own nothing and be happy. You know that guy? Klaus Schwab. Thank you, Klaus Schwab. That's the name. Because I like the 8 of Cups. This is time to really work on a plan. How to navigate the world. Think outside the box. That's how to navigate the world. The old rules just don't apply anymore. The economy's changing. The world's changing. We have AI that's going to change the whole marketplace. We have awakenings that are happening. So ideologies are changing. We have to understand, we are the awakening ones. If you're attracted to this channel, you've either had some level of awakening or you're on the threshold of so. And there isn't just one awakening. There's different levels of it. But to me, a spiritual awakening is the realization that we're more than our bodies, not just intellectually, but through an experiential knowing that we are energetic beings, having physical experiences. And that to me is awakening. The eyes open. If we don't understand that, we're still asleep, basically, and more easily to control, right? So that's how different people have different definitions. Um, yeah, so that's what's going on. So this is like kind of like a bit of a warrior energy. The in this deck, the blade has some blood on it. Um, and the knights are often on horseback, though it doesn't show on the Morgan Greer deck that. So that's about movement and things of that nature. And um, and I think for a lot of us, we're going to be aware of for the next 2 weeks. They're saying we're going to be aware of battles that go on within like families, within friends, within jobs or stuff like that. And you're being called upon to be truthful and direct, but not um like cutting or being um unnecessarily negative in the situation, just being very direct to the point. um I find when I'm that way, I get gaslighted. I think you do also, but I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing. I think Spirit's saying both, but since I had my awakening at age 19, I could see through the veils of people, so I knew what people was going on with them subconsciously, but they didn't know, and their behaviors would reflect that. But what I didn't know at the time, because I would get attacked. So what sometimes a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, right? So what I didn't understand was what I was picking up on. It's like their survival instincts would wrap around them. Like they couldn't allow themselves to know this consciously, because it would totally go against their systems of morality, basically. So they suppress their behaviors without knowing it. So when you bring it out, it's like you get attacked, almost like you're coming at them with a dagger, basically. So I had to learn just discernment. Discretion's the better part of valor. I had to learn that along the way. But that said, be direct. Stick up for yourself, stick up for your loved ones. It's not the time to people please or to try to make everybody happy, basically. When it comes to life, just the way the world is, if you don't have any enemies, you're not doing it right, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's an opinion. You can agree or disagree, but given the state of the world, I think, because I was that way. Everybody liked Adam, right? But then again, I wouldn't always speak my truth, and I want to please everybody. I want to be accepted by everybody. That's an old incarnation in the same body. I can give a rat's what. Honestly, what people think about me now. I mean, I do in a way, for different reasons, but I feel like Spears saying, "Oh, you do," because at the end of the day, I want everybody to get along, and I want the peace, basically. But that's the art of spiritual warriorship. You have to understand war to attain peace. Hopefully, the way the warrior will die before too long, or it'll transform to something else. But right now, the world that we live in, we've got to understand that we all have our own realities, right? Or as Saint Germain says through Mr. Floyd, through Josh, each and every one of us, we have our own universe, but our universes collide, they blend. That's quantum entanglement. So your universe and my universe affect one another, and where the universes meet and what we perceive as reality in the society, you have to be a spiritual warrior in order to transcend this. And I'll take that a step further. Warriors are not afraid to die, and if you're afraid to die, you're afraid to live, and you'll never have an awakening. You'll never have an initiation, because part of you needs to die for another part to be reborn. So again, I was fortunate to learn these ways. Yeah, and I studied a lot of the Native American also. It's all spiritual warriorship. A good synopsis on what that is. It's a book called The Four Agreements. That was a synopsis on the Carlos Castaneda work by Don Miguel Ruiz. So anyway, so there's that. Yeah, and there may be some disruption. So expect more of the nonsense to go on to try to get people angry and divided and scared and all that. We just have to rise above that and do our work, do our spiritual work, but work on not just ourselves, but we live in a physical world. We're not of this world, but we are in this world, right? And there's certain rules that apply. Look up Florence Scovel Skin's book, Florence Scovel Shin, the Game of Life. and you understand the rules. That's part of spiritual warriorship. We assess our playing field or a battlefield, and we apply strategies. And that's the way the peaceful warrior is, being a strategist, basically. So assess your playing field and find strategies. How are you going to get ahead in your life, whether it's financially or personally, in a way that you're not selling your soul to Mr. Gates or Mr. Bezos or the rest of the gang, but that you're authentic and you're doing what you desire to do. That's compatible or synergistic with your life purpose and the reason that you're here. So again, there's unlimited money out there. There's no gold standard. Governments can print however much money they freaking want to, because in America you don't need gold in Fort Knox to validate the value of money or anything like that. Just like anything else, all exists in abundance. It's out there. We just have to figure out how we can be part of the flow, the current of currency, as it were, how to tap into that. So we do that through our visualization. You're doing the true law of attraction, which is basically you're learning how to be the frequency of something. There's ways of being the frequency of money. I have a couple of videos on that. You can just sit in meditation, and then you can even feel money. What does money feel like in my hand? What does it smell like, taste like? What color is it? What sound does it make? As I'm doing this in a meditative state, I'm actually becoming vibrationally compatible with money, because these are energy signatures. And then when you become the vibration of something, you become more magnetic to it. I just did a 4-hour gig last night, pay me $800. So I'm doing this work also, and it's helping. Oh, thank you for that, for sharing that. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Take nothing personally. Always do your best. God, I forgot the other two. Always do your best. God, I can't remember the rest. But anyway, if anybody remembers the other agreements, please write that down. So we have been on almost 50 minutes. Let's keep moving. Let's keep rolling here. So this is the Salvador Dali deck. Speaking of people in St. Pete, in the Tampa area, you've probably been to the museum there. I was there in the late 80s, and I was just drawn to the holograms. I loved it all, but the holograms really do that. Now, Adam Z and Euphrasia have a channel called Manifest Yourself. It's a spiritual law of attraction channel. We've kind of become buddies. And this deck in the 1990s cost $120, and this is like a deluxe set. So they were kind to get me this gift. That's had to run them a couple of $100. They're beautiful prints. So let's see what card that we pull from the Salvador Dali deck. And this one, it says King of Wands. So this is what his print of the King of Wands looked like. Wands is fire, Queens is water. It's energy, it's action. It's gives us very strong feminine archetype energy, basically. And I think it supports the rest of the reading, in such as don't be afraid to manifest your ideas, even if it's a little bit out of the box. It doesn't matter what the economy's doing. It matters, but it doesn't matter in terms of, like, you can still do well in a bad economy. There were two brothers, or were there three brothers? I think there were two brothers. Their last names were Gallo. You might have heard of the Gallo brothers, right? There was a Great Depression in this country. They decided to make wine and sell their wine on the street, basically, and they became millionaires during the Great Depression. If you understand your playing field and you can assess that and apply strategy, you can come out ahead. Moral of the story, financially or otherwise. So learn more about the society, understand the trend. What's going on? A lot of people are awakening. Spirit told me in the last day of 2019 to start a YouTube channel. A lot of you know the story, so I'm not going to dig my teeth into it, but had a lot of performance anxiety and camera, so I took the challenge. I reprogrammed my mind, and I made it a channel on awakening. It's the medium channel, and the byline is the spirituality behind the message. So I wanted to make a channel of what spirituality that I participate in to support my mediumship work, and it became a channel on spiritual awakening. Well, it's what, a lot of people are starting to awaken. I don't know when. They were saying something's going to happen in November. They were telling me at the beginning of the year. It's almost November now. The channel sooner or later is going to blow up, because a lot of awakening people that are having new awakenings are going to find me, basically. And in time, we'll be able to weed out some of the opportunists out there that really don't know much about spirituality. They're like, oh, I'll be a spiritual teacher. I'll go on YouTube and get followers, basically. There's some really good channels also, as we know, and we support. And a lot of you have those. Be impeccable with your word. Thank you. That is one. And what's the fourth one? Always do your best. You be impeccable with your word. Yeah, it's cheap wine. I never like aloe. And Michael Mars saying that is true, but of course many families are struggling. They are, yeah. Each time they go to the supermarket, they discover that their fiat dollar has less purchasing power. That's true. That's part of the playing field that we need to assess, that people are struggling. Everything goes up except wages, right? And during the pandemic, they threw us a bone. Like, all right, have a stimulus package. You get, what was it, $1,600 or whatever. If you had children, you got more. Just don't check your taxes in 3 or 4 years. No, we're giving this away. We're not going to add extra income taxes or extra taxes on property. Of course not. No. This is free money for you. Yeah, right. I believe that. I've part of me's been toying with the idea of actually getting some training. But then Spirit saying, "Yeah, why do you need that? It's in a way, it's a little bit endearing, not being like a pro on camera and being on YouTube, but still, if I start to really do a lot of public speaking or whatever." So anyway, that's the Queen of Wands. So this is a very powerful energy, and it's and that's the meaning that I was getting for that. So this is the Isis Oracle deck. Thank you, Josh, for this gift of Mr. Floyd's channelings channel. I know, and people want to believe it's a good economy. Yeah, I know. I use that analogy, but I say Scotch tape, yeah, or a Band-Aid. It's like they want to fix a gaping wound with a Band-Aid, and it's like everything's fine. Yeah, look at these numbers, everything's fine. Numbers don't lie. I get that. That's their argument. Numbers don't lie, but people do. And again, it's tricknology. It's using valid numbers, but giving it a whole different meaning, and a whole different impression in the collective. All right, thank you, MDR. I will let you know when I'm ready. I wouldn't mind doing some classes. I know there's certain facial angles and certain ways you look at the camera and all that stuff. I'm too busy looking at the cards and looking at your comments to be looking at the camera, but I should glance up every while. Hi, I'm engaging with you. See, all right, clearing my mind. Here we go. Divine sunshine, sunchild. Oh, I love the energy of this. And the message here is blessings of the sun falcon. Interesting. We're coming up to, it's a couple months away. We're coming up to Yule, the rebirth of the sun god, Ra. So So just trying to say, one of the meanings, because it's very gold, and I feel like they're saying, you know what? See yourself as wealthy, whether you have money or not. You are wealth, you are gold. And that may be another technique to use to attract more, physical money, basically. I mean, we're all wealthy. We have our lives, we have our spirits. We are blessed to be able to transcend all the illusions and delusions, and at least have an inkling of what real energy and real spirit's all about. um so there's a nice comment. Numbers are manipulated. Exactly my point. They also like to use neurolinguistics on the masses to believe their lies. That's an interesting point also. And they also use things like frequencies to program. The quick answer is learn heart brain coherence. Learn to dwell in the heart. Hearts cannot be programmed. I don't care if they're using frequencies or they're using subliminals. Hearts cannot be programmed. Hearts love. And when you bring your heart into coherence, science has proven that the heart and the brain are connected. The brain will respond to the heart. So when you bring your heart into vibrational coherence, which basically means feeling love, compassion, and gratitude. Um, it's not rocket science. Everything in spirituality is simple. Then the brain also locks into vibrational coherence. So your subconscious become more resistant to all the programming out there. Every now and then I like to watch the Super Bowl. I may watch it this year also, but I don't watch it so much for the game. I'm not fond of what happened to football over the years. I used to be a fan. That pretty much goes for all professional sports. I watch for the commercials because I want to see what they're doing to program people. I want to see what they're using, what techniques they're using on the people. And yeah, it is a type of NLP. You're actually right. I never knew NLP. I never studied it. I made a program called Power Attunements in 2013. Spirit told me it was ahead of its time, and it's going to be big in the 2020. So I'm going to redo that. And once I get my website, we're going to market that. I have a friend, Jen Bergeron. She's not on. Every now and then she comes on. Um, she's a shamanic healer, amazing energetic channel in her own right. And I taught her the program, and she had studied NLP for 10 years. She looked at me, she said, "That's NLP." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's power to me." She said, "No, that's NLP." So it's like, all right, I guess it's what's the expression? Great minds think alike. I don't know. But in any event, apparently I do know NLP intuitively, even though I've never studied it. I like hearts will never be practical until they can be unbreakable. Hearts don't have to be practical, though. Hearts don't have to be practical. Hearts feel, hearts love. A coherent heart is a loving heart, basically. So anyhow, that's what I'm getting. I probably strayed from the real meaning of divine son child, but you are a divine son child. Remember that. The earth came from the sun. It's like we're in a solar max now. Of course we're affected because this earth came from the sun, and the sun is a reflection or a transmitter of the central sun or the spiritual sun. Every 11 years, 11's a sacred number. The pole shift in the sun, and we have solar activity. Apparently it's a little early this year because we're only 10 years off the last solar max. 2014, the year I didn't sleep. I didn't realize that was the reason. And my sleep patterns have been, we'll just say, off the rails. I didn't sleep at all next, all all of that year, 2014. If I got 3 hours out of that, is good. Thank you for that clarity. And greed has always been the root of our issues. Gratitude is spiritual principles as well as accepting, because it's impossible to have gratitude without acceptance. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Say money's the root of all evil. It's like, no, money's not the root of all evil. You could argue greed is, but money's not the root of all evil. Money is the physical counterpart of the spiritual principle of abundance. Everything exists in abundance, from the 15 trillion cells in our bodies And I'm looking out there. I could probably see thousands of trees just from one window. Everything's in abundance, from the air I'm breathing, the water I'm drinking, the food. Yeah, people say, oh, food's not in abundance. People are hungry. It's like, no, food's in abundance. They're just withholding food from all these countries. Apply all this brilliant technology, hydroponics, hemp farming. Apply all this stuff. You could feed this world 10 times over. We have the know-how. We have the technology. So, again, inexcusable that anybody's hungry on this planet in my way of thinking. Moonology is next up. So this is from Millie. Gift from Millie. Thank you. We're coming up on a full moon, and is it Tuesday or the full moon's Thursday? I think, or is it Wednesday? I should have my calendar. Well, the full moon's coming up. It's in Aries at 24 degrees. I think it's Tuesday, but one of these days we're gonna do a full moon forecast as a live stream. I always, I always post the event ahead of time. I should know my schedule before, but I didn't sleep last night. You're lucky that I'm coherent, to put it that way. Well, my heart's coherent. That's why my brain's coherent. Just kidding. All right, clearing my mind. But we do that, and then we do full moon channeling with the master teachers and the archangels. I'm not sure which archangel will come through. Maybe Michael, because the moon's going to be in a fire sign. And I love channeling Archangel Michael. It's one of my favorites. By the way, you can channel the angels also. I'll get to that in a second. So full moon in Cancer. So we have a full moon in Aries, so another cardinal sign. And a personal issue reaches resolution. Kind of what this is saying, that work on a personal issue this week, because the eight of Pentacles, what's he doing? He's working, he's crafting. You're going to be able to craft a solution. Family, friends, romance, you work, whatever it is. This is a good week, and this is sort of putting a stamp on that message. This is the time to work on the solution to something. And it's hard to come up with solutions when we're angry, upset, or we're feeling the other person's wrong or whatever. Solutions also come from the heart. Be loving in the situation, be balanced. Then you open your brain up to more spiritual information and you'll find the solutions. Again, think outside the box. Each and every one of us can figure out a way of making money, but we're so programmed, even those of us like myself that's been doing 40 years of counter conditioning and reprogramming. I can't say I'm 100% removed from my social conditioning. It comes up in different ways, but what you want to do, and this is a Joe Dispenza trick, what you want to do is learn to be the observer. How do you react to people? How do you react when you're in traffic? How do you react when somebody's disagreeing with you? How do you react when you see the ills of the world? Your reaction is a what's the right word? A manifestation of your programming, because it's subconscious. Programming hijacks the emotions, and we behave in predictable ways, and we create predictable outcomes in our lives until we start to break that chain. Now, full moon in Cancer. Cancer is very emotional, right? So we talk about the emotions and intuition. So this is a good time to really double down on that. So when you step back and observe, see, I won't try to stop my emotions because I know better. They're too powerful. But I can step back and observe that. So if I'm a raving lunatic, I'll step back and watch myself be a raving lunatic. Then I'm not the program in that moment. I'm just observing the program in action. And then from knowledge comes change, right? So that's really what that's about. I am going to rest today, Kara. Thank you very much. I have a couple things I'm going to do, and I may do. I'll do some cleaning also. I was thinking of cutting my hair today, but I might wait on that. I just don't have it in me. I could definitely use a haircut, but I don't have it in me. All right. So anyway, we got a lot more. Let's go to Kyle Gray's Divine Masters Oracle. So I'm switching this one too from angels and ancestors to divine masters. That's funny because I'm so calm, right? But there's a key to that. I forgot the name of the episode, but there's an original Star Trek of the society where they had the red hour. I love the original Star Trek. Um, when I saw the first time I saw and I saw the red planet, like the sky was red, I was sold. I was just a kid then. Um, and they were all very placid, very spiritual. But for 1 hour, like every week, that was the red hour, and they'd be like brutal monsters, like attacking each other, fighting on the street. Then the hour's over, ding, and all of a sudden they're very placid. So I don't hold it in, and I mean, if I'll put it this way. I can't say I won't hold it in because if I'm having a conversation, I get mad at somebody. I'm not going to be a raving lunatic. I have discernment, but if I get frustrated, I'll yell. I'll do that, and then it's outside of me. But I'll observe that. I'll be conscious in the process, and that's the difference. Um, we're emotional beings. We are allowed to have emotions. If somebody says you can't have a single bad thought or a bad feeling, that's for me anyway. My way of thinking go in the other direction. That's not a teacher as far as I'm concerned. Uh oh yeah, I have. Yes. Greed absolutely is based on fear, right? It's criminals on the top, exactly. And that's how to counter, just when you're in your heart, you're in abundance and you're an abundant being. So that's the key there, right? So anyway, angels and ancestors. Let's see what Kyle Gray has to say about all this. And what he has to say, Ishtar, oh beautiful. Easter, Ishtar sounds alike, right? Coincidence? I think not. Um, inner learnings, follow your heart, truth prevails. So it's just a validation, the heart. It all comes down to the heart, right? That's the central main chakra of the body, the largest, most powerful energetic generator. Every spiritual teacher under the sun from 3000 BC or whenever Lao Tzu was alive, I feel like it's a little more recent than that. Um, through modern day teachers, Jesus, Buddha, all of them live with compassion, live from the heart. Now, heart brain coherence has been proven through empirical data that you can prolong your life and you can um, have a stronger immune system by creating more gamma globulin A's or immunoglobulins. That's been validated through Joe Dispenza's research and Heart Math Institute's research. And you're resistant to programming, but it also helps to release an enzyme called telomerase, which coats the telomeres. And basically, what happens is when the cells divide, the telomeres of the chromosomes degrade, and to a point they're gone, you die basically. And according to science, that'll happen in 120 years. If you don't get sick or something else doesn't kill you, you're not going to live past 120 years. The only problem with that is that people do live past 120 years, and they've actually interviewed people that have lived longer than that, and across the board they say, I live from the heart, I live with compassion, I live simply, and all that good stuff. So anyway, so thank you, Ishtar. And what did Ishtar also represent? Rebirth, right? Because it's uh, we'll just say as a matter of terminology that Christianity kind of blended a little bit with some of the old pagan beliefs and Jewish beliefs, and then we have Ishtar, which is like a spring energy. And then we have Easter, or there's also some in some traditions called Estar, Eoster. But it's the spring equinox. It's the balance again and coming into the light, basically. Anyhow, what's left? Frequency of the week. Now that we're all it's funny how tarot time seems to get longer and longer and longer and longer. MDR says she doesn't want to be here 120 years. The good news about that is you don't have to get decrepit either. That's programming also. Granted, bodies do age. That's biology. But the becoming old, sick, and decrepit, that's a programming. That what we believe we create. That's been proven in different ways. There's also a collective belief system, so it's not cut and dry. But that said, what we believe we create. I don't believe I'm going to get old and decrepit. I believe I'm going to get old and be happy in my old age. I'm 66. I got one foot in the door already, and I'm still happy. So 12, yes. Sometimes lightning has to strike, yes, and sometimes thunder has to roar. And sometimes we need prosperity. That's the frequency that we pick for the week from the Sacred Geometry deck. So you can get by just gazing in the middle and just becoming one with that. Part of being awakened, or at least the way that I understand it, is we transcend the physical. Like if I am meditating and I can expand my heart, I can actually feel almost to the degree that I can feel my body. I can feel things, and it's a practice. I first discovered this, I think it was 21 or 22, doing a large dosage of LSD. And I was like, and it was raining. I was like lying out in the woods, and it was rain. It was like, wow, I can feel the raindrops hitting the ground. I can feel the raindrops hitting the trees or whatever. But the thing is, I took the psychedelic experiences, and I wanted to make that. I wanted to learn why I was experiencing that and how I could develop that naturally. And so through years, decades of meditation practice, now I can do that naturally, feel outside of my body also. Yeah, and that's part of it. Absolutely. I feel that card in my hand when I gaze in the middle. And that's part of what I'm talking about. Yeah. Enjoy your time. Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Enjoy your time. Exactly. I live very close to the real Sleepy Hollow, by the way, which we believe is Palinville, New York, not Harry. That's where Washington Irving lives. So I believe that's true. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But the author of Rip Van Winkle, or the head, or in this case, the Headless Horseman. I'm confusing my stories, but anyway, that's where the true Sleepy Hollow is. But that's also the legend of Sleepy Hollows, like in the mountains, also in that area. So I'm pretty sure he spent some time in that area. So anyway, what it says is the frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides us. And there you have it. That's true prosperity. And it can translate to physical prosperity also. Oh, only 25 likes, and we've been oscillating between 30 and 45 people. Well, let's do that. Thank you so much for reminding me. And if anybody is new and you like what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. That helps you connect to the community. And what subscribing does, it just means more of my videos will show up on your homepage when you log on to YouTube. That's the real benefit of being a subscriber, from what I understand, anyways. All right, so this is the messages from your spirit guide animals, or your animal totems. They want me to pick this card. Ladybug. I was the other day I was out hiking, and I just lied because I had about 20 minutes of sun before the clouds came back, and a beautiful ladybug was crawling on my foot, basically. And the message here is this is a time of good fortune and abundance. So be willing to receive all good things in life. So that's our theme today. It seems to be abundance and prosperity. You have to feel that you deserve abundance and prosperity. We've been indoctrinated into guilt and shame. It's like, oh, how can you want money when half the world is starving, or blah blah blah, or the other thing. So we have to, get rid of that programmed disdain of the rich that I had. I have to admit that, and a lot of us have, and recognize that we deserve the abundance. We are abundant. And programming, we're 95% subconscious, so we run these programs without knowing it. And I did a short yesterday, just about 20 seconds long, just explaining very briefly that, how we're basically, programmed into false beliefs, that stuff like that. So we have to really you believe that we're worthy and deserve that, but we have to reprogram basically. So that's kind of the gist of it. So sorry about the true law of attraction. I'm trying to think of what I said in that video now that I brought it up. I just say, oh yeah, what it is. I'm just saying, I started out because in YouTube, you have to have a very strong opening line. You have to, if people are gonna click on and all that stuff. So I started saying, that the law of attraction doesn't work. Then I say, why doesn't it work? Because you could do affirmations till you're blue in the face. If it goes against your programming, it ain't going to move the needle much. You have to learn how to reprogram. And then all the law of attraction will work like a charm for you. All the affirmations, scripting, visualizations, mental rehearsal, all that, it definitely works. But you're not going to go against your own programming, and we're 95% unaware of what that is. So we have to reprogram. And of course, we have videos on that in the channel. All right, so moving right along. Last one is angel therapy card. So we'll get another quick message, and then we'll move on, and we'll enjoy the rest of our if you're in the Northeast, our chilly, rainy Sunday. Rain's such a blessing because it's been super dry. From the second week of September right through now, we've had very, very little rain here. The value you want to achieve, it's all vibrational. It's all frequency. Everything is frequency. What we feel is a frequency. What we think is a frequency. It's energy, right? Frequency is just wavelengths, and there's infinite combination of frequencies. So there's infinite forms of energy that can exist. Here we go. And this says Archangel Raphael. So maybe there's a little bit of healing to do also this week. There's always a little bit of healing to do. The healing angels with you, supporting your healing work. So the healers out there work with Archangel Raphael. It may be a sign for me. We'll see, because they usually tell me sometimes for, I think the full moon's Thursday, right? I think Tuesday, probably Tuesday, maybe Monday. I don't know. But then, anyways, whatever date that is, I'll look at that, because when possible, I like to leave the Tuesdays open so you guys can check out Laura or who's ever doing readings on Mr. Floyd channeling channel that night. So I don't know what date I'm going to do the forecast, but anyway, the healing angels with you, supporting your work. The feeling I probably have to do it Tuesday. Maybe I'll do it at 8. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyway, if Catch Week, all right. I think I have to do it Tuesday, because I think I don't think I have Monday or Wednesday evening open. All right, if I have to, I have to. But whatever the case, at least I'm trying, right? So that's what I have for you today. I love you guys. There's no retreat. There's not much going on. No, I could talk a little bit about Spirit Mind Family. That's our Patreon, our group, our inner community. You can join for free and see all the posts that I do. But if you join at $5 a month, we do 2 extra frequency channelings where we go deeper, because this is a group that's dedicated to the work. So we go a little bit deeper than what I'm able to do on YouTube. Higher, stronger energies. More accelerated awakening and cleansing and clearing. So we do that. We have a video every month, meditation every month that nobody else sees, only the Patreon people. So that's called Spirit Mind Family. There'll be information on how to join on that. And everybody have a really blessed week. We'll see some of you 2 more times this week on live streams. I love you. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day.